What's up, everybody? I'm Terri Thomas, Operations Manager for Radio 1 here in Houston, and welcome to another edition of the Leaderboard. Who Got Next is our music platform for unsigned independent artists here in Houston. Who Got Next? That's our hashtag. Feel free to use it. And definitely want everybody to chime in. Want to welcome our crew on YouTube, but I also like to welcome everybody on Facebook. Definitely feel free to share the show today. And let me just explain, if this is your first time, this is our platform for new and unsigned and independent artists. So basically what happens, it works pretty much via Facebook. You can get a link through our website, theboxhouston.com. Just search Who Got Next, and it'll give you the instructions. But pretty much it's a platform that works through Facebook, which allows artists to load a song and get some organic feedback from people that are just music fans, just lovers of music. And so what happens is we have an incentive every month because we really want to make sure that the artist gets the maximum amount of feedback and the curators have every opportunity to get involved. So this month we have some incentive from our sponsor, Remy Martin, as we team up for excellence. And the incentive is $2,500 for the artist with the top song, and that's voted by the curators. And then we also have for the top curator this month, we've got a $100 cash incentive for the top curator. So we'll announce the winners at the end of today's show for the month of December. And we're also going to continue this with our sponsor, Remy Martin, and Team Up for Excellence for January 2021 with another $2,500 for the artist that has the top song of the month. And in addition to the $100 for the top curator, we're going to also invite the top curator to participate in the panel for next month as we break down Who Got Next. So without further ado, I would like to bring our esteemed panel to the stage. First up, we have the Senior Vice President at Columbia Records, my very good friend, Azim Rashid. Welcome once again to the Leaderboard.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We just got a few hours left of this crazy 2020.
Right.
I'd also like to bring to the stage our mutual good friend who is with Atlantic Records. We'd like to bring LaRonn Harris to the platform.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, señor. Gracias. And then, of course, the only DJ that gives a jam, that's the one and only key player for 97 on the Box and Magic 102.1. We've got our own key player, and that's GT Mayne. And he is here, live and present.
Happy New Year. Early, but hey, Happy New Year. We almost there.
Right. You got a lot going on. You're mixing on Magic, mixing on the Box, and you got a gig tonight as well. So happy.
Ballroom. I'm all over the place.
All right, before we kick off things, I would like to encourage everybody that's participating or weighing in. We've got Facebook, we've got YouTube. So we're going to play our top 5 tracks, and you'll have an opportunity to comment. So definitely want to hear commentary from our curators. So the folks on YouTube and Facebook, please share your comments as well. And those will pop up on the screen, and we'll share them and allow you to weigh in as well. So we'll kick things off with GT with our first track today. All right, GT, what you got for us?
All right, first up today, we have an artist by the name of Nooky, Nooky. Nooky is called Don't Do.
I'm Terri Thomas. Okay. Don't Do Nookie. All right.
There we go.
I don't do what everybody do. 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 You can be switching my team, we don't do that. You posting the traffic, why would you do that? Internet beef, look, nigga don't do that. My nigga shoot first, yeah, my nigga don't shoot back. Moving in silence, my nigga stay two straps. Circle your block and my shooter run 2 laps. On your you can have your little boo back. You wiping it, man, I swear I can't do that. Worse than my nigga, he's serving his time. They gave him 15, he can't drop a dime. Right from my brothers, they get to your 9. Won't snitch on my brothers, I'd rather do time. Snitching on their brothers, trying to f*** their old lady. Never snitch, I don't do that. Never told this on my granny. When it's on the ride, then I'm gonna slide. I don't need nobody with me. Homicide when it's right outside. Tell the police I'm Stevie. Be bragging about crimes that they did. If you can convict them, don't snitch. Snitch on my brother, to visit your mother. Kidnap your bitch, they convict my brother. Bitches, but they want approaches. I know me some killers, I know me some vultures. Ain't want some hunters, my niggas some poachers. Say real many big posters. Game full of face and I'm about to explosion. My time coming soon and I'm about to take over. Shooter got range, call a 40 cal rover. My shooter got range, call a 40 cal rover. I don't do what everybody do. I don't do what everybody do. I don't do what everybody do.
All right, that's Nookie, Don't Do. Azim.
Wow, man, I like that. I love the production on that joint, and definitely he could rap. The flow was dope. Really couldn't tell what he was saying. I had to probably hear it more than once or twice, but he had me in a groove. I didn't like the fact that the hook slowed down where the verses were really staccato, and then he slowed down on the hook, kind of threw me off. But I mean, I definitely think he has the makings of a good song.
All right, great. LaRonn, I see you writing notes feverishly there. What you got for us on Nookie, Don't Do?
Just to echo a lot of the same. Good production. Definitely sounds current. I love the flow patterns that he executed on the record. But where I differ with Azim, or where I contrast with Azim, I think he needed the hook slowed down because of the way that he rode the beat. And like Azim mentioned, you know, on a first listen, you're not going to catch all that if you're not a rapidy rap fan, but you're going to remember that hook. And it kind of had a Boosie sound to it. So I think it'll definitely work in the South. I actually thought it was Boosie on the hook.
Okay, interesting. What about you, GT?
I got to agree with LaRonn right there. His voice did remind me of Boosie right there on the hook, but everything sound current. I like the production. I like the flow. I like the way it was put together from the intro to the verse to the hook. Nothing was redundant. So I'm with what was the name? I want to mess it up. It's Nookie. Hold on. Nookie. Yeah, I'm with Nookie.
You know what? There's some speculation that actually this guy Nookie might be enterprising and put Boosie on the hook. So when we were researching the track prior to loading it up, it looks like he either got a feature or even a sample from Boosie. So we could definitely see the similarity there. And I would just say, you know, I agree with the feedback in general. I was thinking when the hook slowed down, it was almost a nod to Houston, as we tend to slow things down a little bit sometimes. So, you know, I thought that was kind of interesting for the culture here in the city. So that was Nookie, Don't Do. Remember, if you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook and you'd like to weigh in, you know, thumbs up on the track, thumbs down. Do you think it would work? Is it something that you would listen to? Hey, Victoria, weighing in from Facebook. Is it something you would listen to? More importantly, I'd like to know from the curators that are on Facebook and YouTube with the songs that we're playing, would you put your money down? Would you pay for it? Because I think we could like a lot of things, but when it comes to parting with some of that hard-earned money, do you think the song is good enough that you would actually put your money down and pay for it? So I'm curious to see some feedback there. So with that, we got GT. Let's go ahead and hit track number 2.
All right, track number 2 seems like it's a duo, but they go by the name of Myrid and Interstate 81. The name of the song is called Patek. Myrid and Interstate 81, Patek.
Yeah. Two-tone, wristwatch, Patek, new phone, bad bitch, I had to bag it. Big drugs, no shit, I'm an addict. Keep that white on me like a fucking Dallas Maverick. Niggas try to hit me up, I just work in silence. Bitches start to notice too, I wreck the box is violent. Ice on me, that shit keep my fingers dripping. I guess the squad's flashing on these niggas, Scotty Pippen, yeah. I do what I wanna, walk around the city like a full of marijuana. We gon' turn up all night, party till the summer. You ain't a real nigga if you pull up with the gunner. I'm in my bag, I'm born to do this, it's not an option. Me in the cab, we going stupid, I'm back in cautions. Me in the lab, we dreaming loose and I see the coffin. The pills we popping, they think me crazy, I do this often, man. Shit. That's how it is, nigga. Wristwatch, Patek, new phone, bad bitch, I had to bag it. Big drugs, no shit, I'm an addict. Keep that white on me like a fucking Dallas Maverick.
All right, Myrid and Interstate 81, Patek.
Yeah.
Patek. All right, cool. LaRonn, what you got for us?
I'll start with the positives.
Okay.
I like his voice. I definitely liked his rapping voice. It put me in the mind of Fabulous. His cadence. I liked the hook. I thought the hook was catchy. And that's where the positive notes stop. I think they didn't read the room or the format of what we're doing on this platform. I thought it showed a lack of professionalism, and it showed laziness by them not getting a clean edit prior to submitting the track. And I think they kind of disqualified themselves just with the content being what it was and not submitting a clean edit. Like, how hard is that?
Right. That's an excellent point. Azim.
I disagree with LaRonn. I think we talked about this last week. I think that, we still have to educate a lot of people in terms of what we're doing. Remember, we live in an environment now where pretty much anything goes. So unless the rules are overtly stated, I don't know the rules, Terri, you can tell me, but unless the rules were overtly stated, I think they submitted a very competitive track. Reminds me a lot of some De La Soul, Prince Paul, whoever did the production is in their bag. I definitely would like to hear it on a bigger system. I'm assuming that definitely the track needs to be mixed a little bit better. But as far as lyrical content, I thought he stayed on message. Definitely loved his flow and his voice, and the production was on point. So where fundamentally I agree with LaRonn because of what we do for a living, but I think in this creative space, we kind of have to overstate the rules so people know what we're dealing with. But I think that was an A1.
All right, GT.
All I hear is just needs a little tweaking. The sample, because y'all not hearing it like I hear it in the big speaker, so the sample was a little overbearing. So need to tuck the sample back into the production a little bit so you can hear the vocals more. But other than that, me being a hip hop guy for many years, I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely ode to hip hop, I think. I would say one thing is technically we don't ask for it to be clean for the contest in particular, but LaRonn's point to me is absolutely not lost, because I think what all of the artists that submit, there is still hope when you submit that your track, and it's not part of what this is really about, but I think the end game is, everybody wants to have that moment where they're riding in a car and their song comes on the radio. Your song is not going to come on the radio if there's not a clean version of the song. It's just not. And I would say this, it's not the radio station's responsibility to clean up your record. It is your responsibility to do that. And my personal advice there is when you cut a song, if your goal with the song is to eventually make it to radio, is to cut a clean version from the get-go.
Yeah.
I know sometimes we hear songs and the artist in there trying to clean it up after the fact. They didn't cut an original clean version, and there's a lot of having to, drop out the word or flip it and try to spin it backwards and all that, and it just makes for a listening experience that's not very pleasant. So I always tell artists that are aspiring to be on the radio, hey, when you go in there, if you're saying, hey, I really want to get this on the radio at some point, just cut a clean version, use alternate words that could be acceptable in the radio land. And that way you have out the gate, you're prepared. I think luck happens when opportunity meets preparation. And I think a lot of times you've got something to work with, but because you're not adequately prepared, you're not allowing yourself to take advantage of opportunity. I like the bones of the song. I think the mixing and mastering was terrible. And I just do, I appreciate GT talking about how it was sounding in the big speaker, but I'm going to go back to this as well. Proper mixing and mastering is going to mean that your song should sound good no matter what it's being played on. You don't know how the audience is listening. Somebody could be in their AirPods, somebody's in the car with it all the way turned up, somebody's on an aux cord, somebody's on an Alexa, somebody like GT, he's, in the booth, he's got it turned up, or even, GT might feel wild and crazy and want to give it a shot at the club on the big supersized system. But if your song is not properly mixed and mastered, it's going to sound like crap no matter how good the song potentially is. So, that's something I really can't stress enough. So if you're just tapping in on Facebook or YouTube, you're watching the Leaderboard, Who Got Next. It's our platform for up-and-coming independent artists to be able to get some true organic feedback. And we've got plenty of curators that weigh in, which are basically music fans that just like to listen to new music and give their 2 cents. Today, we have our esteemed panel. We've got Azim Rashid, who is a Senior Vice President with Columbia Records, LaRonn Harris, who is here independently, but he also is 9 to 5, is working with Atlantic Records. And of course, we've got DJ GT Mayne here weighing in with you. And I'm Terri Thomas, Operations Manager for Radio 1 here in Houston. All right, my man GT, as we team up for excellence with our sponsor, Remy Martin, what's next?
Artist number 3, Kelo Barzz, I Say, I Say.
I say, I say, keep what I say. I say, I say, I say, you all talk, I let my actions talk for me. Okay, bro. I say, you all talk, I let my actions talk for me. You bitch been ran through, you niggas are over. I say, you bitch been ran through, you niggas are older. I say, ain't got no time for no game. I say, I'll go insane for my team. I say, you talk that shit, gotta show me. All that talk, boy, you gonna lose me. Money get my attention, you know the routine. Break it in, boy, make a deal with you. Hey, I say, stop calling my phone with the BS. If it ain't about the money, I can't see ya. I say, Kelo Barzz, man, I got a movement. Everything that I touch, it keeps moving. I say, bro. You all talk, I let my actions talk for me. Okay, bro. I say, bro. You all talk, I let my actions talk for me.
All right, Kelo Barzz, I say, what say you, Azim?
I say that the hook is too long in the beginning. I think that they should definitely, structurally, the song doesn't work. I think that the hook is strong, but I think structurally they need to move the hook, either shorten the hook in the beginning or come in with it a little later. The track was cool, but I'm gonna tell you, when I heard him, when I look at the song title, I say, I'm looking to hear something, and you got me with the hook, you got me with the title, but you're not really saying a lot. But you talk about songwriting and song structure. Even his voice is melodic, so he has 3 or 4 good elements. I think that going back to retweak the lyrics a little bit and just change the structure where that hook isn't so prominent in the beginning, he might have something. But I think it's competitive, but just structurally needs to do a little work.
Azim, you've also been an artist. So when you're talking about song structure, that comes from a place of actually doing it, right? Absolutely. So, I think it would be beneficial, because I think a lot of, artists, they have talent, right? Potential, they just flowing, they winging it. They don't really understand what song structure is. Can you sort of break down a little bit of just song structure 101? What do you mean by that?
Typical songs, especially we're in a 2-minute reality now, but most songs are 3 minutes and some seconds, if they're going to get played on the radio. But you're talking about a verse, a hook, and a verse for most songs. So maybe you get 2 verses, maybe you get 3. But strong structure, I can't speak to that. Song structure, essentially, to start off, you want no more than a 4-minute intro, 4-second intro, 4 to 8 seconds. That's enough time. If it's a record for the DJs who are going to play in the club, for him to get in out of it, maybe play a break back and forth to start it. You want to get to the meat of the record, which is the first verse, as quickly as possible. Then for your hook, which is the part that people are going to repeat and sing over and over again, you want that to be hopefully melodic, because melody plays a lot with what stays in people's heads when they're not listening to the song, and they can go, oh, I remember that song. So you want to get to the verse quickly, have a memorable and hopefully melodic hook, and then get to that second verse. and the song needs to build. So when you're talking about storytelling, the first verse, whatever you're talking about, the second verse needs to be, if not more impactful, just as impactful as the first verse. And then you take them out on the third verse.
Right. Okay. I think that's helpful because I do believe, like, people got dreams of being in this music business, but don't really know a lot of the nuts and bolts of what it takes. There's the art, but there's also the science. And so I appreciate that. All right, LaRonn, Kelo Barzz. I say, what say you?
You know what? I got excited when I heard the title, but I didn't look at the spelling. You know what I mean? So when I heard I say, I'm thinking chemic. I'm thinking, he about to, speaking affirmations and agreements, within the bars. So I was a little let down when I looked at the screen and I seen it said, I say. I think he was doing a play on words, but for cats like Azim and I that are really into that, it kind of was a letdown. The record was just okay. He had like a Big Sean type of voice texture, but the record was just okay. I have no knock on it, but I had nothing strong to say about it.
All right, GT.
I say the hook was definitely too long in the beginning. Like the verse didn't start till 50 seconds into the song, and
half the song.
That was half the song. Yeah, like 50 seconds is when the verse actually started. And other than that, I mean, it was cool. It was all right. It's like if I had to spend my last dollar on it, like the Motown Theory, probably not. But here's the thing: like when you talk about song structure, give you an example. Cause I just watched again for the 15th time, probably Fade to Black last night, and there's the part where when Jay-Z's in the studio with Rick Rubin. And Rick Rubin was like, you know what? I think we should start the song a cappella and let the beat come in right when you. And Jay-Z like, all right, okay, cool. I'm digging that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, especially when you're coming up, and you don't have too much money. You're kind of doing this all yourself, and you don't really have a producer that's saying, hey, I hear this, or we should do it that way. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what we're dealing with a lot of times. A lot of these artists, they don't really know song structure, or they just hearing it from whoever their favorite artist is or whatever. But you got to have a producer that's really telling you, like, look, this is how it should go,
Brandon weighing in on Facebook says, might be the kiss of death if you're unmoved by the record. I would say absolutely. I do want to jump on something GT really is talking about, because I do think a lot of artists are winging it, but I'm always going to be an advocate of being a student of what it is that you want to do. And so, shoot, we all got one of these, right? Devices. So, with Fade to Black or watching documentaries, learning about the business of what you want to be a part of. On the artist side, there are some really good documentaries out there, like, Fade to Black, for example, and there's something to be gained. Whether you like Jay-Z or not, whether you know about Rick Rubin or not, the point of the matter is there's something to be learned by studying some of these individuals and how they're putting together songs and the chances and so forth and so on that they're taking. And I'll even take it a step further. You guys have heard me say this before. Get outside your genre as well. You may want to be the next biggest rapper in the country, but there's something to be learned from, the biggest rock guy out there, or the biggest pop artist, or the biggest whatever. So there's something to be learned. Music is a universal language, and there's some good formatics and things to be learned and ideas to be learned by really studying a variety of people in the game. So.
You want to learn how to write a good song, listen to country music or old R&B. Like, then where's the story? Yeah. And I think people don't, and even in hip hop, like you go back, listen to Pac, listen to Biggie, listen to those stories. Like Biggie arguably one of the best storytellers ever. Like just listening to it, but CL Smooth. I mean, there's so many. Big L, there's so many old rappers that you could just go and just literally steal storylines from if you're trying to write. And I think that's the thing that's missing. I think when we get back to telling real stories, listen, if being on the block is your experience, great. But how do you make your story from the block be different than the other 100,000 guys saying that same story? And that's the key. And I think to your point, Terri, you're right. There's too much information. Like, we really to be on LaRonn's page with as we call it ourselves, the Dream Killers. Like, you really have no excuse in 2020 going into 21 because there's too much information. You know, we all come from the analog era. We had to literally research and go to the library and drive from pillar to post to figure out what we were doing. When everything you're doing is right here in your hand, you have no excuse. So, I mean, yeah, I definitely, you know, want to give them a little information about how to do it, but they have to be invested in their own success. You just got to be.
I want to say, Azim, get out of my head, because that's exactly what I had just wrote down in my notebook. And the reason that I always reference the clean edits is just like, we have to create a standard procedure for artists or for any professional. If you want to do something, so we're talking about music and radio. Before you leave the studio, it should be standard practice. Let me get this record mixed. Let me send this record off for mastering. But in that process, let me make sure I can edit. Because if I'm an artist, I want to hear my record on the radio. Even the guys that's too cool for school that say that, you know, they don't care about radio, they're a lie. Everybody wants to hear their record on the radio. Azim and Terri, you both know radio can take you from getting 10,000 a show to 50 to 100,000 a show if the record performs on radio. So radio is the end game. So as an artist, you're going to get sick of hearing me say it. If nobody else say it, just make it a part of your checklist. Yo, is my beat tight? My lyrics tight? The hook tight? Cool. We recorded it. Let me get it mixed. Let me get it mastered. And make sure my engineer sends me back a dirty, a clean, a TV edit, a performance edit. This should all be a part of your checklist. And to speak to the information part, like Azim said, we had to go to the library if we wanted to get information. Everything is right here on the smartphone. So they don't have an excuse about, oh, the information is too expensive or it's unavailable. They're just lazy. A lot of people are lazy. I'm not going to say the artists that submitted, you know, today, but a lot of people are just lazy, and their excuses just make an opportunity for the next person that's willing to be prepared, that's willing to go the extra step.
So here's a question to the panel. This is a good question. In fact, me and my producer here, Avery, are on the same page. I was about to ask, who in your opinion are the best storytellers in hip hop?
Before we answer that question, the problem with a lot of the up and coming artists, they don't necessarily respect the history. Like you got artists like Young Thug that, you know, that doesn't necessarily respect Andre 3000, and they both from Atlanta, or Tupac. So that's a part of the problem too. You know what I mean? We got to study the greats to actually become a great. There will be no Kobe or LeBron without Jordan. So those guys studied that. They studied MJ's moves and they added to it. So a lot of the young people, they need to take that same mindset to become a great. Let me study the greats, see what worked and what didn't work. And to answer the question about the best storytellers, I'm going to go back a step further, Azim. I'm going to go back to Slick Rick.
Yeah.
Let's go back to The Message.
Yes.
Like, and I'll stop talking now.
No, it's all good. Azim, best storytellers in hip hop.
I got a list. I'll go West Coast to East. We'll start with from the West Coast. Got to give Q his proper. The boy he's incredible. We think about what he does, telling stories early on. Ice-T storyteller. You know, very very early on. To bring it right back down here to H-Town, Scarface. Come on, like who tells Face can paint a picture that make you like, I'm actually there. A lot of people don't know this name, but I know you guys do. Just passed the recently departed my brother Ricardo Royal, Gangsta Rick, one of the best that ever did it, and people don't know. Like if you know Boss, he wrote Boss's lyrics. Like Rick was incredible. Some more prominent names, obviously, you know, Rakim, HOU, Eminem, Heavy D, Rick, Nas, like people who can put you in a room. Biggie, of course, Tupac. Like those guys put you in a room, you know, and make you feel like, okay, I get it.
You know, I'm gonna throw it to GT, and then I have a thought. GT.
Azim just named
All
85%
your people.
of my list. So I'm just gonna add and go back to the 80s and add Dana Dane.
Yeah.
And I gotta add Andre 3000.
Yeah.
And you covered everybody else. I was gonna start with Ice Cube because today was a good day and all that was some of the greatest storytelling ever.
Well, and I think this is a cool example, and I know they just went viral again for the umpteenth time. Will Smith, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. I mean, when you hear summertime, one, it's summertime because it just sets off the season. But when you listen to the lyrics of the song, that's how your day is going. That's why the song continues to matter to people and have that emotional connection, because it doesn't matter how old you are. Everybody can relate to getting a fresh outfit, the fresh kicks, sitting here, the basketball, the girls, like that's real life stuff. And it's told like a story. And what this conversation reminds me of, and I'm an avid reader. You guys know that, of course, because we're friends. But I think reading really is fundamental, because I think what reading does is it teaches you about storytelling, right? For a story there, and GT hears this all the time when we have, we talk about doing a great break on the air. If you're telling a story, you need a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's got to go somewhere. And so I think, looking at some of the great artists in music, but also look at some of the great stories. I'm an advocate for children's books. I think Dr. Seuss, he might have made up a whole bunch of crazy words and called things whatever he wanted to, but you pick up Horton Hears a Who, you pick up Green Eggs and Ham, and I'm really taking it down to the base level, but that's the fun side of things, right? You pick up any great, phenomenal children's book, it's a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And usually they're short. So you just drop a beat on that thing, you got a whole song, put a hook on it, and there you go. So, the ability to be able to tell a story, to me, makes an emotional connection in the heart and gives people something to relate to. And those stories are always best told when there's something that comes from your real life experience, because there's honesty and authenticity that tends to resonate with people.
It's funny now that you mentioned Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff, because he probably has the two biggest commercial stories ever in history. One, Parents Don't Understand, and two, the theme song to the Fresh Prince.
Yes.
I was just looking up the Ghost Riders for Summertime. I believe either Nas or Jay-Z wrote Summertime, but he recorded it in a Rakim cadence.
Yeah. No, he said in a documentary.
Don't look up nothing else. You just ruined a part of my hip hop history right there. So don't look up nothing else, because I didn't need to know that. Certain things I like to keep sacred in my brain.
Fresh Prince. Will actually said that he stole the cadence from Rakim. That was matter of fact, it was on Rob G's podcast.
Yeah.
Rakim was telling a story about Will taking his cadence on that song.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I do want to bring up, and just for the sake of the conversation, is, mention ghostwriting. And I will say this, I don't think everybody who has talent is meant to be on the stage, but I think that your talent doesn't have to go to waste. So I remember, in particular, I'm gonna tell this story. Azim gonna laugh. This was my first year or two here, probably year and a half in, NBA All-Star Weekend in Houston. It was crazy at the box. GT, you remember it. When I tell you, every time we turned around, somebody else, whether it was an actor, an artist, or whatever, was just showing up at the radio station and walking through the door. And so it was the most incredible weekend, and all signing a wall and the whole 9 yards. So it's around 5 o'clock. Kiati is on the afternoon show with G-Man as an artist. He wasn't on anybody's radio as a talent at that time. He was absolutely Kiati trying to be an artist, and we were freestyling, or I wasn't freestyling anything, but he was freestyling, and they were just going at it. I think J Mac was in there, and it was all this going on. Azim comes out the room and he said, I got Diddy on the phone. He wants to know who that guy is, and if nothing else, get him to ghostwrite. So, that's the rest of the story is for Kiati to tell it. But I just want to make the point that everybody isn't going to be on the stage as an artist, but that does not mean that your talent has to go to waste. There's a lot of roles in the game for people that truly have talent, even if you're somebody that can ghostwrite.
Absolutely.
So, all right, cool.
Jay-Z's in the Hall of Fame. as the first rapper to go in the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and not for his songs, all of them. Like, there's a lot. Go look up Sean Carter Publishing. Like, there's a whole lot of rappers and a whole lot of singers who got Jay-Z's lyrics on their tracks.
I'm not looking.
Yeah. All right, GT, what else you got for us? What's next?
We got Jamison Ray with Sad and Low. Jamison Ray, Sad and Low.
That's a cold name, first of all.
Yeah.
She just want me side. She just want me low. She just want me side. She just want me long. It's yeah. Shit. Walking. Yeah. And she just want me side and low, but I don't wanna go, yeah. Told you I can't lose control, I did it on my own, yeah. Body starting to hit the floor, they sipping on Patron, yeah. I don't wanna cry no more, I'm feeling too alone, yeah. She just want me side and low, but I don't wanna go, yeah. Told you I can't lose control, I did it on my own, yeah. Body starting to hit the floor, they sipping on Patron, yeah. I don't wanna cry no more, I'm feeling too alone. I just wanna make it, but I cannot lose my soul, yeah. Caught up in the matrix, street numbers what I know, yeah. She just wanna kick it, yeah. She gonna lose some clothes, yeah. Skip the fucking basics, never been an average joint, yeah. Smoking like Jamaicans, baby, don't hit the draw, yeah. I know it's hard to face it, but the feeling not alone, yeah. Feeling all alone, I gotta know which way to go, yeah. So I'll chase my dreams, I've been caught up in the yeah. And she just want me side, she just want me low, she just want me side, and she just want me low. It's SNL, and she just want me side on low, but I don't wanna go, yeah. Told you I can't lose control, I did it on my own, yeah. Body starting to hit the floor, they sipping on Patron, yeah. I don't wanna cry no more, I'm feeling too alone.
All right, Jamison Ray, SNL, Sad and Low. I do want to mention we got one of our curators, Brandon from Facebook. He remembers episode 3 and was talking about when we had the discussion about what's in the name and how, does the name matter of an artist? And so, yeah, it's kind of cool to see a name here that seems pretty dope. So with that, I'll go to you, LaRonn, first. Jamison Ray, SNL, Sad and Low.
When I saw the name, I thought of a beverage, a libation. But I like the record. I like the tempo of the record. I definitely like the bounce of it, the production, the overall production, and how the record was put together. I liked his voice. I like how he rolled the beat. This is something that I would turn up if I was in a car and it came on the radio and just vibe out to it. It definitely was a vibe for me.
All right, cool. Azim?
Yeah, for me, it checks all the boxes. First of all, the name catches you, obviously. I think when we talk about song structure, this is a perfectly written song. I mean, it checks all the boxes. And then the subject matter, even with the creativity with the SNL, like you listen to SNL, like, okay, what does that mean? And then he starts singing, and it's like it's on message. So I definitely give this an A+.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And to add to that, Azim, the record wasn't formatted for radio. Right. But it didn't bother me because it was a good record.
Right.
Bingo.
GT. I blocked out the cussing.
So we've been talking a lot about song structure today. He checked off all the boxes because it had a 4-bar intro. Yep. It went into a 4-bar bridge. Yep. First I thought it was the hook, but it's actually a bridge. Right. That actually went into the 8-bar hook, then went into the verse, then went back into the bridge, back into the hook, and it all made sense. It sounded good. I like it.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to have to get technical on you, GT. I would like for you to explain, because I know what a bridge is, but can you explain it for those that don't really understand? Because I think, as we're also trying to use this platform to educate people and help artists just really better their craft, I think it's important to dig deep into some of this. So explain exactly, what is a bridge?
All right, well, my history of a bridge, like I'm about to say Akim. I'm thinking party mode. Azim said earlier, was listening to old R&B records. Like I used to listen to old R&B records, like, okay, that's the hook. But then there was always a breakdown in the song. And it was like a melodic little breakdown, and that's the bridge. He had a perfect little 4-bar bridge with the SNL. He played on the SNL on the bridge, but then the actual hook broke down what the SNL was, So that's what the bridge is.
Yeah. And, for me, my pet peeve right now in music is, just too the same, like it's the same beat, the same cadence. There's nothing interesting in the song. To me, when I, you know, and I know Azim and LaRonn will laugh because I'll be like, the record didn't go anywhere. And, you know, they know exactly what I mean. It's like, I'm looking for something to happen. And I think that goes back to, you know, really taking some time and teaching yourself about good song structure, studying the anatomy of a great song, and then also, you know, this platform. So I did see Victoria thought it was pretty good. Gary weighed in, he gave it a 7, and he said, you know, it was okay. He said he felt it was just sort of too familiar. And I do understand that a little bit. It sounds very much like sort of what's out now. For me, I love to hear, especially as we call the platform Who Got Next. I like to hear an artist that got next, but I also like to hear a sound that got next. So the sameness is okay. But for me personally, I'm looking for that sound that makes me say, woo, that's catching my attention. If I put that on the radio, it's going to stick out so that I'll really turn up the record because it just sticks out from what else is going on in a positive way. Anthony White weighing in on Facebook. It was good. A lot of auto tunes. Myra Jones from Facebook, the sound was for today. True. I would have to agree with that as well. If you'd like to pop in and comment, definitely do so. If you're watching on YouTube or watching on Facebook, we always love to hear from our curators, and that's what this platform is all about. It's Who Got Next. If you go to theboxhouston.com and search Who Got Next, you can really learn more about the platform. It's basically, for us, an opportunity to allow artists that are independent and up and coming a chance to submit your songs and also to get feedback from music fans. You know, we're giving feedback today as professionals and executives in the music business, but the platform itself, there are numerous people that just love music and they're music fans, and they're weighing in and giving you constructive feedback. And so what happens throughout the month is they're listening to music, and, you know, it's like your favorite playlist on whatever digital platform. They're voting the song up or down. And so what happens is, you know, we come up with, you know, the top list of songs, and then at the end of today's show, we'll announce the winner for the month of December. $2,500 for the artist that has the top song of the month. $100 for the curator who gets the most points for the month, and we'll be announcing that at the end of the program. And that, of course, is sponsored by Remy Martin as we team up for excellence. So, all right, GT, what else you got for us?
All right, last up for the day, and I hope I don't butcher this name, but I see it as UHBREW, and the name of the song is called Brew Drip.
Okay.
UHBREW, Brew Drip.
Take a step out of the box. Yes, I brew back while you niggas so shocked. Been a minute since a nigga had dropped, but I promise you all I've been working a lot on my 21 Savage and J. Cole. Ballin', bitch, I'm breaking ankles. No chain swing, cause I make gold. Fuck a limit, I see him and break those. Coming back like a nigga Big Draco. Fuck a peso, I'm coming for bankrolls. See your hoes, I might come through and take those. Don't you hate on me, homies, cause they chose. They got pistol grip pumps, better lay low. Or that hollow will give you a halo. I ain't talking them niggas in space, though. Talking Raiders and Clan on some space ghosts. Bitch, I'm ready to kill it, cause when I rip it, it's Ventolin. Every minute I'm drilling it, spit it quickly and vigorous like a nigga on Ritalin. They addicted to listening, now they all on my dick again. Bitches squeezing and gripping and got them dripping. I'm serious like I'm licking the clitoris. Beat the pussy, I'm furious, might just put my whole fist in it. Pour that shit out and it's glistening. Busting the lips and it's back to the chips again. Ooh, got them all drunk off a brew. These flows in my jeans, I ain't talking about truths. You think you know, but you confused. You don't have a clue what I came here to do. Bruce, if you come fuck with the crew, we'll leave you black, blue, and abused. Who? You. Fuck this flow, I ain't amused. Here's a new style that I must introduce. I rap and compile the lyrics, you hear it then fear it, cause you know you destined to lose. Who do? Yo, I think you sonnin'. I'm sick with new drip like my nose is just running. You best get to work with that singing and humming like slaves in the days working blazing the sun. And I'm kicking new shit like I'm Lee with the chun. And they throwing that shit, I can't see it, I'm stunning. I got that brew drip. Check all you niggas with loose lips. Killing this track like it's nothing. I'm sick with this shit, it's a gift. Yes, you can try, but you niggas ain't stopping and spitting that flame coming straight from the crate.
All right, I'm gonna just call my man Brew because I don't want to butcher his name. So Brew, and that's the Brew Drip. And I will say this, and I'll just make this point before we do the round table here, is to me, this is one of those examples of, and I might be wrong, but I like to make the name understandable for the most amount of people. If it's important to you, making that name so that it's clear, so everybody knows, most importantly, how to find you. You know, if they rock with you or somebody talks about you, if your name is too difficult to find, it might prohibit people from, you know, it just slow down people sort of jumping on the following, I would say, but just tease 2 cents. All right, Azim, it's the Brew Drip.
Now, well, one, I think the name is fine because it's unique.
Okay.
We go back to the first artist with the Myrid and the I-81 3000, like whatever that name was. And I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just saying, like, it was a really long name.
Yeah.
So this, at least, even if I didn't know what it was, if I said it to the four of us, we were all listening for music. UHBREW, like we'd be trying. It's intriguing enough for me to be curious enough about it, and then you get to the song. One, I thought it was creative from this in the video. He did something. I don't know if you guys had videos before, but that seemed to be something different. So I definitely applaud his creativity. Cat can definitely rap. Subject matter a little all over the place, but I think this is definitely feels like a freestyle. I'm about to say freestyle, a Brew style.
A Brew style.
I want my publishing on that, Bro. If you do that, I want my publishing on that. But I definitely feel like it's a freestyle. And he got it. I mean, he was very charismatic. He looked like he belonged on film. He looks his star quality. And like I said, not necessarily on point with the lyrics, but I think he had a good flow. He switched it up. He gave us some tones, some staccato. He slowed it down. He was bragging, talked about the ladies. So he hit all the hip hop metrics, so to speak. And like I said, the video was on point.
All right, LaRonn.
Well, he definitely can rap. I'm definitely a rapidy rap type of listener. I enjoy that. I enjoyed the performance in the video. I enjoyed the editing with the character generation, with the graphics, the teardrops, the flame. That just kind of brought out the lyrics more. I definitely enjoyed that. Being a radio and television major in college, so I can appreciate the effort that he put into it. As far as the name, where I would contrast with what Azim said, so like if I'm a label and you have a name that's that unique, it's going to be an issue when it comes to search engines. So, if you hit a record and you like the record, but you don't know how to spell a name, like, when GT said his name, I'm like, was it an EU? Is it, how do you start the spelling of it?
I'm cutting you off, LaRonn, but I'm going to disagree. Like you, I'm here representing myself today, but for the company that pays my bills, we had a Hot 100 #1 record with an artist. I still can't give you the correct spelling of the artist's name. This guy has Josh 485? I think the record was. It was on 47. No, but it's not spelled that way. It's like JAWSH. Like it's exactly. So I'm gonna disagree with you because I think if you have being unique for the sake of being unique is I won't name the artist. I had a problem with an artist a long time ago. I thought he was trying to be the king of the nerds, and so he was on Universal. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. He thought he was trying to be the king of the nerds, and was like, "Yo, like you're just trying to be unique for unique's sake. You're not really this is not really who you are." But when somebody has a unique concept and it comes across properly, if the music fits and the content is there, people will find it. It's kind of like the field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. If you're doing like the Fushnikins, right? Back when they were doing that, the name was crazy, but then you heard them flow. You wanted to find how do you spell Fushnik? Like what is that, right? So I think, listen, it's not for everybody. Let's be very clear. And you definitely have to have a brand and hopefully content that matches the uniqueness of your name. But you're absolutely right that you should put some thought into it, LaRonn. But I say it shouldn't be a hindrance if it's truly something that's unique to who you are, and you can live up to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like Myri just said, if you have bars, we'll find you. And I was just about to say that if you're going to have a name that's hard to pronounce and very unique, the record needs to be such an outlier that I'm going to go out of my way to find you.
Okay, I think that's a fair point. GT?
Every now and then, I hear a record and I don't think radio, I don't think club. I just think I like the way this motherfucker rap. Keep going. So I feel like I was watching the BET, one of the BET ciphers, and I was like, okay, who is this? What city? Keep going. Don't cut him off. Let him go. And that's how I felt about it. He can rap his ass off, and I think he displayed that. So if he just get the right producer to do some right song structure with him, he can go.
Okay, and then I want to shout out Danny, who weighed in. I think Danny's on Facebook and gave some commentary as well. Says Brew can rap with a nice flow, but it definitely needed, to GT's point, structure a good record that showcases his artistic ability. And we're about to wrap, but I do want to ask this question, guys. You know, just so everybody is aware, the submissions for the platform can be a SoundCloud or a YouTube. So videos are welcome. I mean, they are accepted, you know, YouTube videos and SoundCloud links. So just quick around the panel, like in this day and age, how important is the visual?
Absolutely.
Very.
I mean, especially for hip hop, I mean, we're visual, specifically hip hop, such a visual medium, right? Because when you're going back to the storytelling, you want to tell that story. So the visual complementing the lyrical is just like, if you can match that, even just 50%, like you got a head start on everybody.
LaRonn?
And to add to what Azim just said, you know, I think TikTok has showed us the power of a visual. So it works in tiers, right? You have curators, they create visual content to the song. If people like the visual and the content, they'll stream the record. If they like the record, then they go on to YouTube to see the visual. So it's just like, yo, you don't want to miss out on monetizing your monetizing opportunity. So it's just like, yo, have your ducks in a row. And it
we got an incredible example of that today from right here in Houston. Toby puts out an entire project. Every song has a visual, and he goes viral.
They're incredible visuals. That's why they go viral.
Well, he's an artist, right? So he is putting together visual art as well. And hey, I'm a champion Houston all day. So Toby, he's killing it with that. Definitely, to me, taking the hip hop game in Houston to another level. And to the point, you know, I mean, we've certainly played some of his music on the box for sure, but this guy is an artist who's an artist like on a whole different type of level. He's a visual artist as much as he is a music artist. I also will give some credit to Beyonce, because I think for her, and Azim, you know this, for sure, working closely with Beyonce at periods in your career, is that, man, she puts, boom, album. It's the visual of the album and the songs are there too. But now, like, she's taken her whole thing to a whole other level where it's almost like it's a movie coming out. And so the visual, even when it was the concert film at Coachella, you know, we could have heard the music and the music was good, but man, that visual and how it just really tied in and just took it, to me, it took the music that we already loved to a whole other level. It was just amazing. So to me, I think visual really, really matters. And I just want to encourage any artists that are watching, you know, definitely, if you've got it, submit your YouTube links, because, you know, you see that can stand out in a unique way. And also, I don't want to be in my man Brew's pocket. I'm going to get to you, LaRonn. I'm not trying to be in Brew's pocket of how much he might have paid for that visual. But to me, my man did it smart. I don't think he broke the bank. It was good. It was clean. He used some special effects on it. But I was you know, I went to school for, you know, whatever. And so I know that you got the right person, you can take a little bit of money that you have and you can really make a unique visual. LaRonn?
Take lemons and make lemonade. What I was going to say, because you just did the solicitation for YouTube links. Please don't submit the YouTube links with the guns in the video at the camera like that. Like, that's not creative. I mean, I guess it could be considered art by some, but it's overdone. You know, we just got finished talking about Toby. Everybody's not on that level, but, you know, just try to put some effort into your effort, some efforts into your art.
And even if you don't have a budget for a video, I've seen some dope lyric videos lately. And I was like some very creative ones where like the words are moving and kind of jumping and dancing. If you do that, you know, and upload that on YouTube.
Okay, I'm gonna drop some free game, Fiverr. FIVVERR, whatever, just Google it, Fiverr. There are people all over the world that have those skills that will be more than happy to create a lyric video to go with your song for a very affordable price. They have examples of the work. So where there's a will, there is absolutely a way. So it comes down to me to choices. Do you want the new pair of shoes or whatever you probably got 10 pair of shoes already, or you get on something like Fiverr or get on the internet and just find somebody who can make it happen. Because I think, the music business is no longer local. Again, we talked about this. The minute you put your song out there, the minute you put your song on anybody's digital platform, you are now an artist that has international opportunities. And so just like you're an international artist, there are professionals out here in the world that have skills that live wherever, that are out here making money by offering their service. Thank you so much, Avery. Fiverr.com. It's a website where you can find freelancers to do projects, logos, websites, video production, and they have competitive rates. And it's $50 for a music video, a lyric video, $50, but it can get you on the map. And then also, don't forget, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. It's great to be on SoundCloud. I'm an advocate. You got to be wherever there's potential fan base. There's about 29 digital platforms that as an artist, you need to have your song, but YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. To me, it would be crazy not to make sure you have a presence there. All right, cool. So I think we're about to announce some winners here today. So if you're checking in, this is Who Got Next, the leaderboard. Our sponsor, Remy Martin, as we team up for excellence, and we're wrapping up the incentive for the month of December. So I think first up, we're going to announce the top curator. And so this is the music fan that just weighed in the most and accumulated the most points for the month of December. And so we'd like to congratulate Scourge Washington. Scourge Washington's is the top curator for the month of December. You walk away with $100 and our deepest appreciation, might I add. So shout out to the top curator. Congratulations. And then without further ado,
I got a drum roll for you.
You got it? Hit me on the drum roll. Top song of the month. It's going to be UHBREW, the Brew Drip. $2,500. So the extra effort on the video is having you walk away, my friend, with $2,500 from our sponsor, Remy Martin, as we team up for excellence. And you can use that money on your next video or a piece of equipment or studio time, however you need to use it to further your career. So want to remind everybody, the top song, we have nothing to do with that. That is 1,000% voted on by the curators. So we're weighing in and we're giving some professional guidance as executives in the music business, but the top curated song is the one that walks away with the money. So you got two ways to get down. You can be a curator, or you can be an artist and submit your song and get the feedback. And I think the feedback is helpful. So for January, we're going to come back with Remy Martin with $2,500 for the top artist for the month or the top song for the month. And then for the curator, we're going to come back with $100 for the curator. And then next month, we'll have the curator, the top curator will give an opportunity to join the panel. And so that'll be super fun as well. And also a feature on Instagram, on the 97.9 The Box Instagram. So I really want to thank my panel, Azim Rashid. You can follow him on Instagram. He's got it posted for you. We got LaRonn Harris. I am LaRonn Harris. Of course, y'all know GT, the only DJ that gives a jam. And I'm Terri Thomas. So thank you so much for tapping in today with Who Got Next on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be back next month. If you want to learn more about the platform, go to theboxhouston.com. And you'll see Who Got Next right there, and it'll break it all down for you. So shout out once again to our sponsor, Remy Martin, as we team up for excellence. And gentlemen, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. And shouts out to Avery on the producer status today. And y'all be good. Peace.